Good evening, everybody. We got here a 1v1 pro game. This is between Hera in the blue and in the red, Miguel. So this is being played on African clearing, a nomad-style start map. As you can see, the players are just dropping their town centers right now, actually very close to one another within the same screen. And a little bit of a mill over here for Hera. So, Hera is playing as the Chinese, so looking to get a little bit of an advantage with the extra villager as soon as he does get up his town center. And then in the red, playing as the Berbers, Miguel. Obviously a very fantastic civilization for nomad starts with their faster villagers. They do get that little bit of an advantage, the two of them. Obviously, talking back and forth with one another. That is one thing about the top level players in this community. They all know each other very, very well, and do keep fairly good relationships with one another. We do have 4 villagers right now for Miguel, and then 6, obviously, with that additional villager for the Chinese player. And with the swordfish, you do get that little bit of an advantage at the beginning as well. And now they are able to talk way back and forth. And obviously, with the playing as the Chinese, it's a little bit of a different start, but it does, it does pay off if you can get it to work. Definitely pays off very, very well. And both the players going to look at collecting up their resources around their town centers as quickly as possible. That is the good thing about being able to place next to these little ponds, and it is just that little bit of an advantage compared to a typical Arabia start. Much more food available in African clearing, and much more easily accessible at the beginning of the game. But in saying that, this is a very open map in the center, and the two of them talking back and forth a little bit, starting the wall off a little bit, see if they have spotted one another. Probably can guess due to the fact that there has been some scouting over here. Hera's probably, thinking there might be someone over there, and then same situation. Definitely Miguel knows. He does see that zebra has fallen as well. Now, both of the players going to the same pond in the middle. That will be a 1 lost villager for Hera. And let's see if it's going to be 2, actually. It does get a couple of good hits in there. Villager micro, obviously such a messy thing to do. And especially when communicating back and forth so much, saying, why are you here? Why are you here? Both players at this point in time looking to expand where they can. These ponds do each have 4 shorefish in them, and so they will run out eventually, and for now they're just deciding to both share the fish. They even say, thank you for letting me fish. And both of the players now will start looking to get up to the next stage. Obviously, very, very similar uptimes. Both of these players very good, very close, but Hera with a slight villager advantage, mostly due to the fact that he is playing as the Chinese. They get that advantage right off the bat. And that is an interesting question, actually, that that Miguel does ask. Why didn't he get Loom? Typically for Chinese build, Loom is the first thing that comes in, just because there's that reduced food amount right off the start. And for now, slow. We do have a barracks up for Miguel, and nothing coming out as of yet. But because he is playing as the Berbers, I would expect to see a stable fairly quick, although it does look like Hera is going for a fast castle. It looks like Miguel might be going for the same. And the one thing that always impresses me about these players the ability to type back and forth to one another, have a full conversation, and still be faster than anyone else in the world. Unbelievable.
Wait.
And the stable is up for Miguel. Right now, a barracks going up for Hera. Interested to see what he decides to do. Obviously looking to go for a faster castle, but does not yet have the buildings. Stable coming up, blacksmith coming up, so we will see scouts fighting against one another in the feudal age. But once we get to castle, which Miguel has already clicked up very, very quickly, he did also go for a blacksmith stable at the same time. But both of the players very, very quick in their castle age, and that's both within 15 minutes, especially for a nomad start. That is fantastic. And they ask, are you going to stable? No, he responds as he's creating scout cavalry in his stable. And now Hera goes forward with some villagers. This villager will wall himself in. That has become pretty commonplace nowadays. All of the players obviously being so fast compared to what they were years ago, and so that villager was able to protect himself, but one still will go down for Hera. Now both of the players at 26 villagers, and both of the players looking to gain whatever advantage they possibly can as they expand out to their other mills and other pawns. That is one thing to take advantage of when possible on this map, especially, is all of the extra pawns, tons of extra food in those pawns. Will this villager go down? No, it does not look like she will. That scout does fall. Very weak villager in there, as Hera does end up picking off a villager here. Only loses a little bit of HP, actually, as Miguel hits the castle age, and no doubt we will see camels coming out. That is a strength of the Berbers, definitely. Their camels, their knights, very, very good civilization when going for cavalry. But, of course, the Chinese, they do have such a versatile army composition that they are able to pull out camels just the same, as the second town center gets marked off for Hera, just to say, hey, I know what you're building over here. Hera still on the one town center, so it will be a little bit more aggressive likely from Hera as compared to what Miguel will be going for. And now we do see the engagement, two camels versus 2 camels and 1 scout. We obviously know that that 1 scout advantage will give the lead to Hera, and that is something that going for that second town center, that will slow down Miguel's productivity, and that will eventually lead to some issues if he does not maintain and get an economic advantage. Right now he does not have that advantage as of yet. Both of the players looking to maybe catch their breath a little bit here, as the monk will start healing up this camel rider, that camel rider, getting them back up to full HP. And a second stable coming out for Hera. Still sitting on just the 1 town center. No second town center being built as of yet. He does have this villager hidden away at this mill as well. That might be useful later on. Obviously, will be able to get out another town center eventually if that's what he chooses to do. Nothing else. It's just extra food income that is safe up on the other side of the map.
Wait.
And still 33 villagers each, so Miguel not quite able to use his 2 town centers to his advantage as of yet. Hoping to see a little bit of a difference there, as the scout will try to pick off these monks, but there are 3 of them now, so that will be less likely, as the monk tries to get the conversion. Will it get that conversion? It does not. That is lucky for Miguel, but this is not. He does lose both of the monks. He does get a couple of conversions, but he can make this engagement. And And with that monk behind for Hera, he does have to run away. And now scout cavalry in there for Hera as well. They will be able to cause a little bit of havoc and able to pick off the monks that Miguel might throw out eventually. Both players, again, still only one villager apart, as Miguel is housed pretty badly, as a matter of fact. And now, building his houses, one villager lead for now, but that will fall behind as this army comes in. Miguel, lots of wasted idle time already in the game. Most of the fights have been in his community, and so it is causing more and more trouble as time goes on. And he is unable to expand. That is maybe a good thing that he has this second town center, as it does give him a little bit more protection on that side. He's now building another town center, so he will have safe gold as well. We will see a boom out of Miguel. He now has a 2 villager lead, so he is producing twice as quickly. Currently, he will be 3 times as fast fairly shortly, as Hera is still only on 1 town center. He will likely stay like that and continue to push, move his military aggression as forward as possible. And it is going to be difficult as this army of camels grows and grows and grows for Miguel to really engage against it, as most of his resources have been going right into his own economy, creating villagers and creating town centers. And both armies just kind of staying at bay. Miguel now adding more camels in. He does have the 2 stables. Both of them, well, only one of them really working. He does not have the economy to be producing villagers out of 3 town centers, as well as camels out of 2 stables. And this mangonel now, very difficult for him to engage against, as he does not have the numbers advantage against the camels, so he cannot move forward to take out this mangonel. He is getting some free shots with his 3 villagers that are sitting idle, but very far from ideal for the position that Miguel is in currently. He does have the 3 town centers. He is producing faster. He does have 1 more villager than Hera, but at this point in time, he is not producing any villagers, so you wonder, was it worth it to expand over with these 2 extra town centers, or was he better off to have waited? Would he have been much better off there to get a military advantage to keep up? Because right now, he is struggling to keep up to the massive numbers of camels that Hera is throwing on the field at this point in time. This town center at this point in time, with 2 mangonels taking it out, is very likely going to fall down, as houses are getting taken out on the front. 3rd mangonel coming in for Hera, and really not too much going on in Hera's economy. So Hera, though he does have less town centers, he has had the safer economy, and because of that, he actually has a villager lead with only 1 town center. And of course, the productivity just makes such a big difference in these situations, as there have been 4 villagers repairing this town center. There have been villagers in and out of the town center, both of them wanting to sort of entice the other into a fight, because Hera knows that if he fights under the town centers, he might lose, and Miguel knows that if he fights under the mangonels and monks, he will lose. So that is something that both of the players wanting to sit out as much as possible, but Hera decides to run in. How will this engagement go for him? Town center is being repaired, but now we see the villagers have run into the town center, and it gets ejected. So the town center fire no longer helpful. Mangonel still taking out the town center itself. Will these numbers be enough for Miguel to hold on? It looks like it will be just about end of the game, and there you have it. the GG is called just that quick. Hera showing the importance of keeping that military advantage and pushing when your enemy is going for a boom.